Okay, here we want to look at a quadratic function. Now, anytime we talk about a quadratic function, the first thing we want to do, we're looking for this x squared. And when we see this x squared, that lets us know we're going to be graphing a parabola. Now, there's two things that you ought to be able to see immediately when you're graphing a quadratic function. Number one, if this first number is positive, it's going to open upward. All right? The first number is positive, it's going to open upward. But if this first number is negative, it's going to open downward. Okay, so that's one thing I always look at. And the second thing I always say is this last number, C, that's your intercept. So as soon as I look at this one, I know that it's a parabola because it's squared. It's opening upward because this first number is positive, and it's going through 3. So on this graph, I'm just going to go ahead and put a dot at this 0, 3. So now I want to come back, and first I want to use my vertex formula. If we remember the vertex HK, H was equal to negative B over 2A, and K was equal to F of negative B over 2A. So now, let's look at it right here. A is equal to 1, that's the coefficient. B was equal to negative 4, that's the coefficient here. And then C is equal to 3. So now, for H, we want to use negative B over 2A. That's going to be negative of negative 4 over 2 times 1. That gives me 4 over 2, which is equal to 2. And now I need to plug this back into my original function because remember, f of negative b over 2a. So whatever I get for h, I plug it back into my original function. So now, 2 squared minus 4 times 2 plus 3. That's going to give me 4 minus 8, which is negative 4, plus 3, which is negative 1. So my vertex, HK, is going to be 2 and negative 1. So once again, I'm going to come over 2 units and down 1 unit. That's 2 and my negative 1. I can pretty much graph this from here, okay, as far as getting a rough sketch. But I also want y'all to remember how to plug this in. And you can do that. Different instructors do it different ways where you put your inputs and your output. But I'm going to give you a rough sketch right here. This is going up because that first number was positive and it's going through a positive 3. Okay, remember, every quadratic function is going to be symmetrical. That's that axis of symmetry. And I'm going to draw it the same way on this other side. What's another way to do that? We can find the X intercepts. The y-intercept is right here given to you as 3, but the x-intercept, remember, that's going to be factor x minus 1, x minus 3, which you can go to the notes. I just don't have the space to show all that. But this is how we graph this type of function. I'm going to say it again. The first thing you should look at, if it's positive, is opening upward. Then it's going through 3. Negative b over 2a, we find our h, and whatever we get for h, we plug it into the original function. And that's going to give us our vertex.